Jody, another incredibly frustrating afternoon. Talk us through that one if you can.
Yeah, frustrating because of the ending, but, well, the beginning and the ending, to be honest. Listen, when you go down to 10 men within a minute, I think it was inside a minute, wasn't it? I think down to 10 men, conceding a penalty, obviously comes from Joe Tomlinson slipping first, and then Wakey's trying to do his job for the team and obviously collides with the guy. It doesn't bring him down, just collides with him, and then it's red card and you go, fair enough. Sol saves the pen. Minutes later, we should have a penalty and maybe our own red card. I don't know. You never know what you're going to get with the officials, but it's a penalty. Whatever way you look at it, whether they send him off or not is up to them, and I'm sure they'll probably would have chose the one that was worse for us, staying on or whatever. But for us to put in a shift like we did with the odd threat, I still think we could have done a little bit better in possession. Certainly the first half, and I told them that at half time, is that regardless of the 10 men, there's still moments where we need to try and stay on the ball for longer to give yourself a chance with the rest side of it. And then again, we're getting to the end stages of the game where the other team haven't created a chance. They've had shots from distance and a couple of crosses that flashed by the goal, but they haven't created a chance, and the players deserve credit for that. The shift that they put in was great, but for us to concede it in the goal in the way that we did was really disappointing, because I think, I'm not sure the reason for us trying to play it. I think Fraser's trying to maybe get further up the pitch and then cross it. I think Hutz is thinking what's going on. And then the quality of the ball's poor, and then they end up, rightly so, they should be more energised than us. They end up breaking on us, and there ain't no one that I want to point fingers at as far as we haven't run back as quick as them. There's an element of the guy that scores who's just literally quicker than one of our players in the middle. I was pleased with the way we was trying to get back in, but obviously you're just looking at the naivety side of it again, where we've just put in a hell of a shift, and the least you want to come away from a game like that is maybe not losing and not giving up chances, because listen, they're a decent side, Stockport, and to go 95 minutes with 10 men is tough in whatever league you're in, whatever competition, and the fact that they scored off our set piece is obviously the one that's tough to take. But I can't fault the lads' effort and application, and they're a man down and maybe going up against the officiating as well.
And obviously, what do you say to your team after a result like that? Because obviously it's not the result you wanted, but still some positives there, because you not only matched Stockport for vast periods with 10 men, but controlled the game as well in spells.
Yeah, well, there were moments, as I said, that I was pleased with, and you have to take into account the work that people are doing off the ball to try and nullify them and stop them creating problems against a very physical team. So that's hard enough as it is. And then when you've got people making their sort of like coming back into the team, they haven't played for a while, I was extremely pleased. But I just said to him that I was proud of the effort and the application and the fight that they had for each other. Can we have done things a little bit better in the game? Yes, but as I said, I was proud of him there. But I feel like I'm repeating myself, where I feel the last 4 games we should get more out of every single game than we've actually got. So the more and more you keep repeating yourself like that, the more and more you've got to look at ourselves and say, well, like I said, I think it's a poor goal to concede, albeit one that there is a mistake that's made right further up the pitch. But if we are going to play and we're going to play short, like I said to him, I think we need to get in a better setup rather than get Hutz to come over who's taking a free kick and then try and play short. That's not the way forward. But obviously couple of the players are maybe in disagreement about what should have happened, but from my perspective, it shouldn't have happened full stop, because if we are going to play short, we need to get in a better setup, and if we are going to put it in, I kind of get the idea that there weren't a lot that we could do as far as aerially today when we're trying to get up the pitch. It's just no contest for some of their players against ours, but like I said, I just feel for the players. It's real disappointing. I knew everybody knows in the stadium, and I've got to say the fans again, I thought were class for us today at the county ground, because I think they knew what they was up against. They could see the shift that they put in, and they could also see that, like I said, I felt that we was up against, or we was on the wrong side of decisions, let's put it that way, and I think the fans knew that as well. So, listen, I'm proud of the effort of the players, but again, it's another week when you come away with not what you deserved.
And obviously you prepare for a game all week, and then after, I think it's 39 seconds, the game plan is pretty much out the window. How challenging is that as a manager to have to think on your feet that quickly and trying to sort of reshape the side and go for the win, obviously, still?
Yeah, I mean, well, it's probably one of the worst things you can ask for, because the actual changing and kind of adapting to what you need to do is not a problem. It's just going down to 10 men. That's no problem. The problem is that it's so early in the game, and everything that you've kind of worked on or implemented or asked the players or gone through with the players on tactics boards and all that is gone, like you said, within seconds. So sometimes snapping the players out of that mindset is harder than actually making changes. The change is pretty simple when you go down to 10 men. How are you going to play as 10 men? But the setup is easy enough to do however you decide to do it. But it's then coming away from how we're going to press, how we're going to adapt, people moving positions from how they was first playing and now in a slightly different role. When you're down to 10 men, well, I suppose we went quite early at Newport as well, but when you're down to 10 men, a lot of the time it's usually in the second half, and at least they've had an opportunity to try and impose themselves in the way that we was asking of them. But yeah, I don't think I've been involved in a player where it's been sent off that quick. So, yeah, I think it's more of a challenge for the players that have to then adjust their mindset. They know they're going to have to work harder. They knew that. There was any opportunity that we had to try and speak to him during the half was trying to use just to remind players that they will still have to work hard to create chances against us. So don't get too despondent. Just got to get their mindset from trying to dominate a game and trying to play a certain way to knowing that they're going to have longer spells without it, and they're going to have to suffer, which they did. But it would be a lot better for them if they've coming off just suffered from a physical aspect. But the fact that they concede a goal in the manner in which they did means that they're going to suffer mentally as well. And that's without looking ahead to the next game, where people have maybe done a little bit more than they may have done previously, and then we're now going to lose Wakey for a game as well. So, listen, I feel for the players. I don't want to stand here and be too negative, because I think it's a moment in the game that we get punished for, but ultimately it's a day that I feel for them, because I was proud of the shift they put in. I was proud of how hard they worked, and I just wish, like I've said for the past 3 games, that's 4 games for me now where they haven't got what they deserved.
Just on the officials, I don't want to get you into trouble on this one. I thought the players dealt pretty well with some very frustrating decisions out there today. I mean, you must be able to praise your players for keeping their heads in quite difficult circumstances, I guess.
Yeah, I know how I would have been as a player in today's game. And to say the lads were frustrated with that side of it is an understatement. But like you said, they did deal with that well. But they shouldn't have to, for me. They shouldn't have to. Like I said, I get it. People want to talk about rules and stuff like that. You've got to come in together with players slightly behind their attacking player in the box. I get that there needs to be red, but then for there not to be a penalty minutes later for us, I mean, and then without going into it, there was multiple decisions after that I felt the players dealt with quite well. Maybe they was so focused on the job in hand with being a man down kind of helped that side of it. But like I said, I was proud of the work rate and how hard they fought today, and I think the fans saw that. I think you could hear them at the end, and that was nice to see actually, the way that the fans were sticking with the players, because it's not easy for the fans either. We can talk about setups and formations and all that going out the window within 38 seconds, did you say? But it's the same for the fans. They've paid their money, they've come to see their team go at a team and try and get the win, and that's gone out the window for them straight away. And testament to the real top fans are the ones that can recognise what's happened and recognise when a team puts a shift in. And I felt our punters done that today, and I think our punters deserve huge credit for the way in which they backed us and helped us push through as far as fighting to try and keep a clean sheet and to stop Stockport running away with it. But unlucky for them, and obviously we would have loved to give those fans that were sticking by us, knowing that we put in a hell of a shift, something to leave here with, even though it would have only been a point. We need more than that at the moment, but you do have to credit the fans there. I thought what they done today was class, when it's not the easiest watch.
And another learning curve for your young side as well. Obviously, there's been a few of those over the last few games, but sort of another game that's gone slightly differently. But as I say, your young players have got to learn from this, and I guess if you take a positive from it, it's another part of their development and something that we can assess and move forward.
Yeah, you hope that there's learning moments and like you said, learning curves. But when certain things maybe repeat themselves, and like I said, I'm not saying today was necessarily that, but when you're on the wrong side of a bit of luck or slips and refereeing decisions and stuff like that, to give yourself the best chance, you've got to then maybe not gift the opportunity to teams to try and break you down. And it can be difficult because you do feel that you've defended for the majority of the game. Do you have an opportunity to put the ball in the box? And then maybe there's a couple of players that are on different wavelengths. But that happens. I hope it's a learning curve, because I do think that we'll be better off for this little spell that we're going through, because, like you said, experience can help you become a little bit more clever and a little bit more experienced as far as putting up with certain situations. But you do need to make sure that it is a learning experience, and it's not a kind of situation that's repeating itself all the time. I'd like it to stop happening, us not getting what we deserve out of games, but sometimes you're just on the wrong side of a few things.